Welcome to File Solutions. So we have three tasks here, and the first one is compare two text files. And what I've done is simply copy and paste this code into an empty cell. And if I scroll down here, you can see our desired output. So true, false, false, and these three trues here. Okay, so how are we going to go about trying to achieve the outputs and also fulfilling these hints here? Well, the third one is more like a requirement. So what I'm going to do is start with 11 lines of code, and then I'm going to drop that down to 5 lines of code, just to show the difference. Okay, so I'm going to run this code here. And we should have our two text files now, so rain and cloud. So you can see here we've got rain. So hi, food is hot, sunny day, and we should have also food is cold, hi, food is cold, and sunny day. Okay, great. And the hints are, use a for loop with range for control flow that outputs either true or false. Well, before we do anything, we have to actually open both these text files. So we'll do a equals open rain.text R mode for read, and then B equals open clouds.text and also R for read. And then we'll do day equals A.read lines and night equals B.read lines. And then we could do for I in range 6, because we have a total of 6 Boolean outputs, colon, if they, so we're indexing, equal, this is the comparison operator, night, I, colon, prints true, else, colon, prints false. I'll just scroll down here. And we'll do, of course, the closing. So a.close, close, and b.close. And if I just hit here with the L key, you can see we've got 11 lines of code. So if I run this, we should have 6 Boolean outputs, and we should have 1 true, 2 false, and then 3 true. Okay, so let's just run this. And what am I missing here? Oh, I've got a mistake here. That's should be dots. So run that now. And we'll check the outputs. So 1 true, 2 false, and 3 true. Great. Okay, so how are we going to go about trying to convert this into only 5 lines of code? Well, the first thing we can do is, let's just delete all of this. And we can move this and do this as 1 line. So A for rain, B for cloud. And likewise, we'll do the same with the day and night variables. Okay, and then we can have for I in. Let's do list comprehension here, which is probably what you guessed. As you can see, I've got 5 lines of code here, and I can change that to semicolon. And what we're going to do is true if day index I equal to night I else false for I in range 6 colon print I. Run that, and we have the exact same output of true, false, false, and 3 trues. Okay, great. So moving on from that, what we're going to do is task 2, create 3 text files with 1 input each. So we're going to be creating 3 text files which are called morning, evening, and night. I'm going to be filling in these lines of code here that are missing. And we've got this desired outputs and inputs. So the inputs are win, lose, and draw with the add text here, the string that we're going to be putting with the inputs. And game win, game lose, and game draw are the texts that are going to be in the text files. Okay. So what we'll do is a for loop for I in range. I'm going to be using len files colon, and then we'll do here, we're going to fill this line, and that's going to have files I plus, and then we're going to have an input, so let's just call it, say, num equals, let's just call it text, it's a bit more appropriate, equals inputs add text colon, and then here we're going to do d equals open files I, so we'll open them up. So we have to first create them. We have to write something before we can read something. Dot text, comma, then a for appends, and here we'll delete this. We'll have d dot write slash n plus num. Well, that should be text actually. Text. And then we'll of course have the close method, d.close. Run that, and the error is, this should be here. Okay, so I'm going to do, what are the inputs? It should be win, lose, and draw. So win, lose, draw, and we can check our text file. So for morning we should have win, evening is lose, and night is draw. So we go into our folder here. Okay, great, so we've got our morning, got win, and we'll go for evening, which should be lose, game and lose, and then lastly, night should be game and draw. Great. Okay, so we've completed that task. And moving on to our third and final task, which is filter out words based on length. So I've just simply copied and pasted this code into an empty cell. And what we want is this particular list with these 3 strings of Python, Udemy, and Jupyter. And if I run this, we'll check and see if we've got it. So it should be called count. We've got it there. Okay, so computer, Python, Udemy, Intelligence, Universal, Jupyter, and Java are together. I'll have to double check the code here. Jupyter and Java. Okay, so I'm missing a slash n here. So I'll run that again. And then we'll go back to our count. And we'll refresh this. Okay, great. That's how it should be. And how are we going to go about trying to get to this output? Okay, well, firstly, because we've created it, we can now read it, and we're going to do count.text with the R plus mode, so we can both read and write. Okay, so this is going to be with open count.text R plus as comp colon G equals, remember the dot join method, comp dot read lines, closing parentheses, and we'll check G, so we'll get, okay, so we have a string here, but it's not terribly readable with these slash n's. So we want to get rid of them. We've got 2 /n's actually for each of, yeah, we had 2. Okay. So we'll do, let's do it here, dot replace /n/n, and then do a space there. Okay, so a lot more readable. And we want to then grab only, so Python, Udemy, and Jupyter. That should be right. Python, Udemy, and Jupyter. Okay, great. So we'll do dot split, and we just check here. Great. So we've got all of them in a list now. We'll just call this G2 equals, and then we'll do list comprehension of I for I in G2 if len I is greater than or equal to 5 and len I is less than or equal to 7. We run this, hopefully we'll get Python, Udemy, and Jupyter. Python, Udemy, and Jupyter. Great. So that concludes my lecture, and I hope that's been insightful. If you have any questions, feel free to ask in the Q&A. Thanks.